I love the smell of vindication in the morning. Here we are. That's my husband over here. And he's doing anything possible to not go into that office this morning because he knows he will have to admit he was wrong and I was right. And this video will not end until I get that from him. So I'd like to tell you the story of how I was right and he was so wrong. Many months ago, I was sitting right here at my desk, and I'm gonna flip the camera around. And from my desk, I get to see my husband's desk through this door, and he was sitting right there, and I overheard him take a phone call. And on this phone call was a customer who was begging him to do manufacturer warranty, which, P.S. by the way, we had decided we would no longer do it. There's many reasons. We actually wrote a 5-part series for rvtravel.com. I will link that down below. And if you're not a subscriber to rvtravel.com, why aren't you? But there's many reasons why we don't do it. And through this door, and it was rude, I'll be honest, it was rude of me, but through this door, while he was talking to the customer, I said, Dustin, don't do it. Dustin, don't do it. You're going to regret it. Don't do it. Sending him smoke signals, the whole 9 yards. And I can't for the life of me tell you why he decided to do it, but he said, sure, no problem. Let's schedule you an appointment. So he scheduled that appointment, and he scheduled that appointment for this customer on August the 31st. And as I'm recording this morning, it is now October the 20th, and everything was denied by the manufacturer. So here we are, sitting, 50 days? 50 days with this giant unit on my lot. The underbelly is wide open. 48 emails back and forth. I counted them, and everything's declined by the manufacturer. I'm gonna tell you why. So here we are with my service manager, Zach. Say hey, Zach.
Howdy.
He was even though my husband approved this and he scheduled the appointment, Zach had the pleasure of doing the back and forth. And so now I'm gonna pass the baton to you, Zach. You tell us what happened.
So customer came in, he's got a handful of items, but he's got 2 that are major to him. The other ones, whether they're approved or not, little small things taken care of, no problem to him. But his main concern is he's got a primary tank and a secondary tank, and he's got a fill for both. The primary tank is 90 something gallons. The secondary tank is half that size. It's 40 something gallons. So the customer's complaint is he hooks up, and it doesn't matter which fill he's hooking to, whether it's the primary or the secondary, because they cross over. He's dumping 60 gallons on the ground.
60.
And between both tanks are full. Peeling this apart, and before we go into that, customer has already contacted them, gone over everything, asked for answers. Manufacturer's kind of, he's got the emails, basically like, yeah, it's not really the best design, but it is what it is, kind of thing. Back we pull it all apart, get in there, take a look. The issue is the tank is plumbed, or the connections are plumbed to both tanks off of each fill. So they're both filling the tanks. So it doesn't matter. The design is set up, no matter what, that secondary tank is going to overfill before the other tank's even half full. And the question that you would probably ask is, well, why don't you just disconnect the line so then one just does one and one just does the other tank? And what we're recommending is similar to that. The issue is the way that the system is plumbed and pulls water, it pulls out of both those lines. So you can't just disconnect one, you can't just disconnect the other, because the water pump pulls off the bottom line that's plumbed to both. The regular plumbing pulls off the top line that's plumbed to both. So the customer's kind of out of luck. I mean, it's either a major modification to change the system, which we wrote a system for, submitted to them, and they denied.
And their reasoning for denial?
They don't cover modifications. And I get that because they designed something specifically and you're not putting it back to factory spec. But now this customer is either choosing to pay out of his own pocket, whether it be the water that he's wasting on the floor, or paying us to fix it. This is a huge coach. This is a giant toy hauler fifth wheel, just sitting there, tore apart, waiting for approval. The other issue that the customer has, he's got a small little bit of DLAM from an inclusion or something on the under nose Phylon material. I don't think they're going to cover that either. It's very minor, but customer's kind of out of luck at this point, and it's either pay to get it fixed or pay your water bill when you're dumping it all over the place.
Okay. And so far, how many hours do you say we have into this project?
So right now, customer is very particular. So even though they make the Scrim Shield Darko tape to cut the underbellies and modify and all that, we pulled the underbelly so that way we're not making any cuts. With pulling it, looking at everything, testing it back and forth, we probably got about 4.5 hours to 5 hours into just the teardown and hey, here's this. And that's not including my back and forth with the manufacturer and the customer, writing any of this stuff. That's just the tech time.
48 emails.
Yeah,
okay.
It's a lot. And that's not including phone time, because I've had phone time as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's phone time with you and the customer, and also the manufacturer? Okay. Okay, so let me get your opinion, because you know where I stand on this topic. Do you want to do any more manufacturer warranty?
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Okay.
I've been doing this at this point about 10 years, and every place that I've ever been to does manufacturer warranty, and it always turns out to be a pain. And when you go to a car dealership or something similar, they get paid on the backside. You know, they take care of the stuff, and Ford is going to take care of them. The RV industry doesn't do it that way. It's backwards. Like, you have to get approval or you don't get paid. And so we have to make sure, when we're a business, we have to make sure we're making money. People have bills to pay and mouths to feed, and we have to wait and play these games. So it's, for the most part, when you're bringing your coach to places that do manufacturer warranty, it's not that they're twiddling their thumb. I mean, they may be, I don't know, everybody else, but it's not that they're twiddling their thumbs and messing you around. It's they're having to fight this battle for
playing the game that we gotta play.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Okay, so let me ask you one more question.
Sure.
So we already have 4.5, 5 hours into just tech time, tearing it apart.
Correct.
So let's say if the customer says, forget it, I'm not paying for that modification. We obviously have to put it back together for him. How much more time will that take?
Probably about another 4 hours.
Okay, and tearing it apart, putting it back together, manufacturer's not going to pay for that, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So no matter
what,
either
way, customer's on the hook.
Customer's on the hook at this point. It's either you pay the time to get it fixed right while it's open, or you're paying me a full day's worth of labor to take it apart, look at it, put it back together.
Disgusting. Okay. Thank you for your time.
I'm sorry.
You're sorry, and?
I should have listened to you.
Oh, you're doing so good. Keep going.
I should have not done any manufacturer warranty work.
Okay.
It's like, help me. And what's that?
Yeah.
I'm wrong. So, sir, I should have told you no. I'm wrong.
I'm wrong,
and I'm eating crow for it.
And?
I'm in the doghouse. It'll never happen again.
I'm right.
You're right. Ashley, you're always right.
Oh, it's on film. This is so good.
Don't click off just yet. I've linked some other videos for you to see what else is going on in the shop.